So Luke, as befits a number 5 in the world, we're launching you a new range which will have darts, shafts, flights, wallet, new shirt, power band. But we're going to stick closely to the darts for this one to let everyone know what we're currently using and what the changes are. So from a player's point of view, what is it that is so important about getting that dart perfect for you?
Yeah, I mean, with the barrel I use now, it was very similar to Simon Whitlock's dart that he used in maybe 2014, 2013, the World Final against Phil. And I remember picking them up, and something strikes me about them that I didn't know why I liked them so much. And then obviously I used them for a good few years, and I signed with you guys 5-6 years ago and spoke to Lee, and he worked out why I liked them so much, and it was because of the front weight of it. The dart is quite balanced, but the front weight is what's perfect for my throw, because as I release the dart and I flick them up, that dart comes up and it perfectly comes down at the right moment. And I think that's what I loved about these darts so much.
So you can control that trajectory?
I can control these darts in the best way possible. And I didn't really know what it was about the Simon Whitlock darts that I loved so much, but Lee found the answer, and it was that front weighted sort of bit that worked well with my throw. And then we went through some changes with my own original dart, and we sort of changed the front of the barrel, and we sort of tapered it down a little bit, because I think we worked out that maybe if we tapered it down a bit more, we could fit in, maybe my scoring could be better, we could fit in more 180s, and it did work. Obviously since I started using these last year, and I've seen a massive improvement in my own game. Last year 4 European Tour titles, got myself up to 5th in the world, was one of the best 180 hitters in the world last year. And I think it was just from the fact of talking to Lee, getting this a bit more tapered in, and the front weighted balance. It suits the way I throw, and having I couldn't have a long barrel as well with the long shafts and stuff.
Yeah, how have you ended up with the sort of extra long shaft? Is that?
Yeah, because see, that was a bit random. I used to watch a player from Berkshire, his name was Steve Rose, and he used to use these really long stems, and he was so good. And I used to think, and he used to make it look easy. And I used to think, well, I'd love to. This is when I was about 14, 15. I used to think, well, I'd love to try it just to see if that worked for me, because he used to make it look so easy. And I tried him here and there, and there was loads of 180s, couldn't hit a double with them. And then I found out why I struggled to throw them was because I was using such a long barrel.
Right,
and it was just too long. The dart was,
the whole thing was too long.
It was too long.
Yeah.
And it was hard to control. So, that's when I tried the Whitlock darts with them in maybe 2015 or whenever it was, and that's when I realised that they were actually the perfect length for me then. And ever since, there's no way I could shorten my barrel or anything like that. It doesn't work. So, I think with the long shaft and the smaller, I'd say it's not a small barrel. It's not the average type. I think it's smaller than average. It just seems to work.
That combination,
it just seems to be so well balanced for my throw, and the way they go through the air. They drop at the last second just to fall in that top of the treble 20, and I think that's why I've turned into one of the biggest scorers in the world.
And we've kept your new dart in the same profile and shape, but we've added some more grip. So you wanted to give an option for people out there who are a fan or want to emulate what you're doing, but probably need a bit more grip. Talk us through the difference between the new dart and your existing dart.
Yeah, well, see, these were obviously my darts that I use right now are acquired taste. If you don't want too much grip, then they're probably the best thing for you. Although they do have a bit of grip on them, But these darts are, I wanted to broaden out the audience a little bit more, because some people were saying they're struggling with a bit, the grip side of them darts, and I've actually had a throw with these. Lee sent me these a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not someone that loves lots of grip, but this grip for me on this barrel seems to work well for me also.
Do you find you can lock your fingers in the right place all the time?
When you see a close-up of these, I just find that the way that the crossing of the grip on it, it just feels really secure and nice. And it doesn't it's not too razor sharp, and I can't move my fingers across it. And it's something that I'd be interested to really give a go myself, because obviously I'm someone that doesn't like lots and lots of grip, but I feel like I could really get used to it. I feel like there's something along the lines of something that I could use.
And they look very stylish, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, they look the part, they look fantastic, and they got my colour blue in them as well, and
Does that make a huge difference, you think, how something looks, or really is it down to how it feels in the throw?
I think it can be a bit of both. I think, you know, some people like the look of the way it goes through the air. You know, obviously when I throw these, I can see the colours go through the air and stuff like that with them. They're pretty basic, so I don't really notice too much. But with these, you know, when you've got a bit of colour and the feel and stuff, it can feel a bit different. So that's why sometimes it's hard to throw with colours and that and stuff. But these, they didn't seem to affect me. Now, like I said, I threw these a couple of weeks ago and they felt really good. It's exactly the same barrel shape, exactly the same sort of front weighted point of it. It's just a different grip pattern. And in my opinion, one of the best grip patterns I've ever thrown.
And when you come in with us, you clearly enjoy this design side of it, the styling, the innovation side, and you're very clear in your picture of what you want. How have you enjoyed getting really deep in this customization program for it to create your darts?
I mean, it's Peter Wright's fault. He always keeps talking to me and keeps saying, I think you could do this, I think you could do this to improve your game, do this, do that. So it's Peter's fault. He keeps like making me try and change things. And, you know, I'm sort of open-minded a bit more now about, you know, when I first met you, I was one setup and that would be me for the next 30 years. Whereas I think you've seen now, I'm sort of open to trying different things and trying different barrel designs and grip patterns and all this type of stuff. And, you know, I feel like I was too set in my ways. Now I feel much more open-minded about trying different things. And
well, what we're seeing is that you've always know what you can fall back to. So it's the same with Gezi. He'll come in, try a load of darts, be off the planet good, same as Peter, but you've always got that fallback position. And I think that fallback of your original set, how is that massively important in this process?
I think that, yeah, the fallback on them would be easy for me to keep going back to. I don't think that it'd ever come to a point where if I did change for a few months and they didn't work out, I couldn't go back to them and they'd still work because, you know, I've thrown them for a good few years now and I feel very comfortable with them. But I always believe that there's a 2-3%, you know, potential in everybody that, if, you know, you could find a different dart that goes even better. And I speak to Lee a lot. I sort of say, you know, can we try this design? Just, you know, even after I've won a Euro Tour, so I'll say, Lee, can we try this just in case, you know, I could be even better than I am. And I think when you watch Peter Wright, he changes darts here and there, and sometimes he can be even better than he is, sometimes not as good, but that's through experimenting. And yeah, I think that if I was ever going to get on with grip, as much as I would, these are probably the best ones suited for me. And, you know, I feel like if people like the smaller barrel and, you know, the shape of my darts and the front weighted and they just want a bit of grip, I think, you know, these would probably be the perfect dart for them.
Well, Luke, thanks for coming in and talking through your existing darts and your new ones. They're available from all good stock. It's all around the world. Thanks for your time.
No problem.